over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish. Bop, 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 bop.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of The Breakfast Dish. My son and I host this podcast together where we celebrate art that's happening digitally online, social distanced in Alberta. What else do you want to say about it, Griffin?
Karen, I'm going to level with you.
What?
I just feel like we need to have some more breakfast references. We talk about all the kind of art going around. We haven't, we do little smatterings of mentions of breakfast food, but I think we need to reclaim the title a bit, if I'm being honest.
Okay, that's true, because we don't want to get any egg on our face. So
that's one. That's really good. That was one. So give me 6 more.
Well, we've got some really juicy guests with us here today.
Sorry. And 1 second. What did you just say? I want you to repeat that.
Juicy. In an interesting way. We're going to talk about some really juicy art.
We were recently talking about generational things, and when I hear the word juicy, all I think is those sweatpants that have the word juicy on the bottom.
Right. Okay. No. How about this? We're going to get the juice from our guest today, and if I pronounce their names wrong, I am toast. So I hope that this podcast goes smooth as butter. And aren't you glad I didn't say banana?
Wow. Okay. I was about to say that's only 5, but you snuck banana in there. Listen, I really try and steer away from any kind of like too many nepotistic ideals, which is hard on a mother-son podcast. Absolutely. But Mother, that was very impressive.
Thank you.
Really rattled those off kind of like a breakfast machine gun. So good job.
Yeah. Did I mention I'm an improviser? Did you know that growing up with me for the last 24 years that I'm an improviser?
The outro, I always say you're a professional improviser, and I never say those 2 words correctly. I always speed over, bump over once. You just wait. The end of this episode, I'm going to enunciate the hell out of professional improviser. Oh boy.
Griffin, guess what?
What?
This episode of The Breakfast Dish is sponsored by ATB. Do you know what ATB stands for?
We have ads now? Oh my God.
We have ads because we're part of the Alberta Podcast Network.
Well, here's a little secret. I do know what ATB is because I'm with them. I have a debit card, so this is conflict of interest.
Okay, so let me tell you. You were born in 1996 and I was born in 1966, and ATB was opened in 1938, and their entire job then was to support Albertans during hard times. Are we in hard times right now? Yeah. Are they still going to help us? Yeah, they are, because they've got a Bill to Help Albertans campaign, and they're going to help Albertans recover from the effects of COVID. This is a downturn. It's not over, but ATB was built to help Albertans like you and like me.
So ATB is here to answer the hard questions.
Yeah, any hard questions that you might have as an ATB account holder.
So I'll go to my bank and go, where do babies come from?
That's great. Yep.
And sorry, what you're saying is you'll promise me that they'll answer those.
Well, they say they'll answer commonly asked questions.
Well, I don't know where babies come from.
That's pretty common.
Yeah, maybe not of my age group, but they won't judge. ATB is great.
Ask them anything. They're going to help you because we need the help. Hey, let me talk about the juice that we're going to get from our guests.
Okay, I want to just jump in and say that a lot of rappers nowadays refer to juice as drugs and alcohol. So just like give me the juice. So
no, I don't want to say that then. Okay.
We can. Listen, this could be an X-rated podcast episode. We can go 18 plus and that's fine. Okay.
No, I don't want to use your millennial terms.
I'm drunk right now. I'm about to go do a shot.
Okay, how about this? Our guests are about to put the flavored mint chocolate cream replacement in the coffee of this podcast. How's that?
It's a very specific coffee creamer. Don't you have a cream egg one in your fridge right now?
Right now I have the flavored Cadbury cream egg coffee creamer. Nothing known to nature. Nothing. Okay. So our guests today are representing or exhibiting at the Zyp Gallery.
I'm gonna keep a tally. 1 second.
What did I say?
Did you say exhibiting?
Oh, well, I didn't mean to, but yes, I did mean to. Yeah, that's right. I was that clever.
Okay, great.
Yep.
That's 9, I think. I'm really actually keeping a tally. This is the sound of the pencil hitting the paper.
In Calmar, Alberta, the Zyp Art Gallery which is named after a very wonderful couple of philanthropists, Mr. and Mrs. Zyp, ZYP. And today we have the executive director and curator, Jaime Rathor, as well as the artist who is on exhibit right now, Linda Finstad. Hello and welcome.
Hello. We're going to pretend that I've got gin and juice because I'm old school.
Yes, banana gin and juice.
It's happy hour somewhere.
Oh, gin and juice. I'm counting that as a breakfast reference. That's 10.
It's sunny. We'll be drinking Pimm's because that's what we do in the sun.
I think if I drank, it would be a very girly, flavored, cooler thing that had the word strawberry involved in it somewhere.
Now hold on. Let's make this number 11. Give me a strawberry breakfast booze treat.
A strawberry breakfast booze treat?
Some might say a drink. I don't know why I said it that way.
They used to make, at the Sidetrack Cafe in Edmonton, they used to make a drink called PJ's Demise, which was basically a strawberry milkshake with Kahlua in it.
Ooh.
That sounds really good.
Right? Doesn't that sound good?
I also love the way that people name cocktails and also chocolate desserts oftentimes they're like really aggressive. Like Chocozuma's Revenge. This is my freaking cocoa gun.
Do you guys remember Death by Chocolate?
Yes.
They had really insane names.
Oh, yeah.
I have a confession to make.
Hit me.
I'm on this crazy diet and you have chocolate cake for breakfast. It's the...
What?
I know, right? It's the best diet I've ever been on.
Is this real?
Yeah.
Diet is
Is
this?
this just set up for a joke?
No, it's true. They did a study in Ireland and apparently it's the best thing you can do. I haven't lost an ounce, but it's the best diet I've ever been on. You have chocolate cake for breakfast.
Have you gained an ounce?
No.
Come on.
It's brilliant. I have chocolate cake.
Yeah, if I could stay exactly where I was and eat cake every morning, that's fine.
Well, yeah, but the idea is that you feel physically sick after a big chunk of that chocolate cream cake for breakfast. You don't fancy anything else all morning.
Make you sick over sugar.
I think that's why it works.
Yeah. It has to be like very rich, like too rich.
There is no other way, right? There is no other way.
I want this diet. I expect you to email me this diet because
Does it have a name?
It's the chocolate cake diet. That's what's called. That's all you eat. Why, Linda? Why are you subjecting yourself to that?
Yeah, it sounds good for the first 4 days, and then I feel like it's like the kid who wanted candy for every meal, and it's like, I'm sorry, Mom, I was wrong.
I'm not fed up with it yet. I like chocolate cake.
No, I'd keep going. I could do that diet forever.
Wow.
Here's another experiment my aunt told me about, which is the toothpaste diet. No, you don't eat the toothpaste, but you eat...
Karen, please don't disclose our shameful family history on the podcast.
She started, dude. She started.
Old Linda used to eat Colgate.
My aunt, Sharon Berg, says if you have a craving, like you want a little something, you have a bite of it. So a bite of chocolate cake and then immediately brush your teeth because you never want to eat something right after you brush your teeth because it doesn't taste the same.
Interesting.
Yeah, actually, that's actually really good.
Yeah. And then you have a little bite of it and you got the taste. But before you eat the entire donut, Karen, you brush your teeth. And
I've never presumed to give any kind of dentistry advice on the breakfast dish, but I do know that overbrushing is a thing and you can take off the enamel. So anyway, that's just my fun advice.
Wow.
Educational as well.
No, it's not a really practice preach thing. I think I've had to get a filling every time I've gone to the dentist. So don't take it too seriously. I'm not smart.
9 out of 10 dentists say, stop giving dental advice.
9 out of 10 dentists say, please do not eat chocolate cake every morning.
Speaking of dentists,
yeah,
I'm going to do it.
Okay, so what we've set up in this podcast is that Karen sets up the most insane transitions, and she doesn't have to. Speaking of dentists, okay, here we go, Karen.
Okay,
Bring it home.
Yeah, speaking of dentists, if you eat too much candy, there's too many calories. Calorie starts with the same 3 letters as Calmar. Calmar is where the Zyp Art Gallery is.
Whoa.
Wow. Why don't you guys have drum sound effects? This would have been perfect. That was amazing. I applaud that.
When Dee Dee reached out to us, and I think Dee Dee is one of your volunteers.
Yes.
Yeah, a press volunteer, which is amazing.
Yes.
And told us about the exhibition. We were so excited because that is my kind of art, Linda. So first of all, Jaime, would you please tell us a little bit about the gallery?
So Zyp Art Gallery, we're very new. And if we don't count COVID, we have less years on the table. So we started in 2018, and we were founded by Dr. Nung Tran Davies, who is Calmar's local doctor. And she and her family were Vietnamese refugees. I never know the term for that. So they were sponsored by 5 families, and one of them were Hank and Tillie Zyp. And so she really got to grow up around them and really see the impact and the philanthropy and social activism and just using art as a mechanism of communication. And so they really impact her, and she always had this dream of opening up an art gallery commemorating them. And so that's kind of how we started. And then I was brought in, and then it just went crazy. I was like, let's do this, let's make it into a place that commemorates Hank and Tillie and takes what they gave to the world and what they gave to Nung and her family and spread that. And so we through my first exhibition that I did with Hank and commemorating Hank and Tillie Zyp, and Hank was the artist, and so the question was like, how do I showcase Tillie in this exhibition? So I got to interview so many people that knew and grew up with them, and so it really kind of like were all these puzzle pieces, like who's Hank and Tillie? I know they sponsored her and her family, but like how do we kind of move their mission, who they were forward? And so all these interviews like I had, it was like all these puzzle pieces and just came together, and it just clicked. It was so amazing, and I became even more connected and impassioned by what Hank and Tillie and Nung does, and then what the gallery does. So to just summarize it, is that we are a space that provides a platform that amplifies the voiceless within our community. And that means that we are really trying to support and just use our space to communicate really anybody. And like, for example, like Linda, a local artist. We have exhibitions that are going to be coming up. For example, next year we'll be having one showcasing the non-visual learner. How do blind, partially sighted people interact with art? Because art by its very nature excludes the non-visual learner. So voices and communities that we don't normally talk about, that's kind of like where Hank and Tillie were about, and that's what Nung does, and that's now what we're about.
Sorry, I wasn't giving you any cues. My husband had just walked in the office and started talking to me, and that was my way of going, I'm busy right now.
Oh my God, I lost my train of thought, and I was like, darn.
So sorry. Next time I'll go, get out!
Dad, this is my room!
So I apologize. Everybody's gonna hear me stumble, and they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with her? Gin and juice is getting to her."
The gin and juice is hitting. I chugged 4 Bloody Marys before this.
Yeah, just say the gin kicked her right there.
Have you heard that song, Mom? Have you heard Sipping on Gin and Juice?
No, there's an actual song?
Yeah, I'll have to show you
Oh
later.
my God, that's the legend. Gin and juice, man.
You'd have to, I think it would be 9 parts juice and 1 part gin, wouldn't it? Because otherwise.
Are you saying wouldn't it? Because no, it wouldn't.
No, other way around. 9 parts gin.
Our podcast is slowly transitioning to a bartender advice podcast. Hey, what's up? It's mixologist, breakfast guy, Griff.
I do have things I want to say about the Zyp Gallery, but first I found a good segue, which is if you have that much gin and juice, like if you have 9 parts gin and 1 part juice, you're not very angelic. You're not a typical angel. You are not that kind of angel, which is the name of the exhibition of Linda's work at the Zyp Gallery.
Exactly.
Segue again, amazing.
Well done.
We're going to rename the podcast Karen's Segways. Linda.
Yes.
Karen Segways and Griffin Drinks.
There's a great story behind this particular exhibition that began during COVID for lack of art supplies. So would you please tell that?
There absolutely is. So what happened when I'm an artist and I like to use lots of bright colours. And when the lockdown happened, I was out of some of my art supplies, and I didn't want to just quit because you've all this time on your hands. What are you going to do with yourself, right? So I thought, you know what? I'm just going to use what I got. So I decided to have a go at painting with coffee, and not the good stuff. Just cheapo, nasty coffee.
This is not Starbucks art.
No. This is the cheapest you can get, the Maxwell House.
I was wondering if you were going to name a brand. That's right. Boom. Boom, Maxwell House.
But it does make great paint.
Okay, Maxwell House, change your marketing.
It makes great paint. So I used Maxwell House instant coffee and just one tin of red paint that I found in the garage, a tin of triclad paint that my husband had been using on the car. So just two colours, just brown and a little bit of red. And I started painting angels, but not your typical angels. You know, the type that you see on Christmas cards, these long, slender beings with flowing locks and skinny legs. Well, my angels have got big bums, frizzy hair, and even bigger attitudes. And they are not politically correct at all.
They are my kind of angel.
Mine too. Mine too. So what I was doing really, I was using these angels to kind of, I don't know. I gave them a voice, but really it was my voice. And it was my way of dealing with the frustrations of the pandemic, of the lockdown, of the restrictions. Anyway, well, so I was painting these angels and I started posting them on Facebook. Well, people loved them. Absolutely loved them. So I'm an author as well. And I like to double dip on everything because I'm not young. I'm a double dipper. Whether that's politically correct or not, I do it. So
Is that, I'm going to mark that down as a breakfast reference and we're going to go with that.
you see, this is what happens when you invite, women of a certain
Yeah,
age.
we can turn anything into a sexual endorsement.
And I'm at that age where I don't care. I think I've been at that age for a long time, actually.
Oh, Seinfeld, double dipping.
Wait, you double dipped. You're double dipped as an author. What happened?
Okay, so back to the story. So I painted the angels and people loved them on Facebook. They liked the cheeky comments. They really liked the fat angels. So I thought, I'm going to put them all in a book. But I wasn't quite sure how to work. I've written lots of books. I've written 26 different books.
26? Oh my
Anyway.
gosh.
I'm very prolific as well. So what I did, I counteracted the cheekiness and the worldview of looking at life with God's version. So you can decide which works best for you. So there's the angels, very sassy, opinionated view of what's happening. And then there's God's version. There's a Bible verse to go with it. So whichever side of the field you want to play in, you can take whichever works best.
Yeah, I noticed. And so when you go on the Zyp Art Gallery website and we're looking at your works, if I'm remembering one of the angels saying something like, I have mixed drinks about these feelings, or something like, I just loved it.
All comes back to gin and juice.
It all
Yes.
goes back to gin and juice. But yeah,
Absolutely.
as you scroll over it, the Bible verse pops up as well. So I love that idea of like, here's, look at it from both ways.
Yes,
Yeah.
because, life's complicated. And it is complicated because you wouldn't believe it, but I'm a Christian woman.
I don't believe it.
I go to ladies' Bible groups. Because life is complicated, and we're all a mixture of lots of different conflicting things. But I really got hooked on this coffee painting thing, and I love it. I absolutely
It's beautiful
love it.
work.
So then it went one step further, because I'm very prolific, and I like writing books. There's a crazy holiday for absolutely everything.
There's a National Donut Day. I know that.
Well, today is the National Grape Popsicle Day. There's a day for everything.
Please tell me you're going to paint with grape popsicle.
No.
Wait a minute. How do you know that?
I know that because I painted 365 angels and put them all in a journal and married them up with whatever day it is. So every day, and I did this, and since then I've posted them every single day on Facebook because I wanted to give people a giggle, something to giggle about, and a reason to celebrate. So you've got a national day to set, like Great Popsicle Day today. You can celebrate that if you like. And a coffee angel with their little sassy quips to go with it.
I'm going on Facebook right now to follow you because
Now, hold on.
I want to see
what
these.
I do need you to do, Linda, is for the three other people in the call right now, I need you to appoint us one of the more obscure holidays.
Okay, so there's a day that says National Awkward Moments Day.
That's every day for me.
And there's this little boy angel, and it says, when someone says don't look, I get the urge to look. And he's looking down his britches.
That's brilliant. How many little boys have I seen do that in my life?
Yep.
All of them.
I can't wait till the next time National Awkward Moments Day comes around. Because
I think it's March 17th.
I gotta wait like 10 months now before I can be awkward again.
You know, the question, who's it awkward for?
That's
He's
true.
enjoying. He's like, yeah.
True.
Every spectator. That's where it's bad.
But there's lots, and for every day there's lots of different holidays. But I've picked the ones that I could illustrate and have something cheeky to say about, But they're not bad. Like I say, I like to double dip. So there's cards, there's greeting cards, there's books, there is prints, all from the same drawing. That's what I mean by double dipping. I do the work once, and then I think of lots of different ways that I can present it and offer it, and hopefully make a living at it.
It's merch.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Listen, I was looking, and you have a very reasonable price already for your prints on the website, and you have made a slight offering of a lower price just now during COVID, which is
Yes.
a very generous offering as well. And all of those prints are there. And I think, is it access to buying your books on the website as well? The Zyp Gallery website?
Yeah.
Yeah, her prints, her book, and then obviously just linking directly to her on the website if you scroll down after the exhibition part.
Right.
So
Okay.
this is our first, I'll be the first one to say, this is our first Calmar interview. We're very excited.
Yep.
Jamie, is there something different in your eyes about managing a gallery in a smaller town rather than somewhat larger? Like, is there any boons? Is there any challenges you face? Anything like that?
It's double challenge because first of all, we're new. It's not like I
Right.
came in and there was structure there. So I get the double whammy of being in a small town, which restricts funding. Like Rosa, I can't wait till they do all of Alberta. I love that organization. And so the access of funding resources is the biggest thing because we don't fall into Edmonton, but we cater to Edmonton. So I think that's a big thing. And then obviously when you're in a rural community, the just physically accessing the space is obviously harder, but that's where COVID has been an opportunity because it was I got time to build our website. I got time to upload things because it's just me. Originally it was just me. And then also like, the way I'm looking at it is like, if you look at psychographics about like different areas, like in Canada, like they do psychographics on postal codes, ours is more outdoorsy. So how do you educate, and I say that in quotation, about art, like how to view art, how to appreciate art, and even the idea of buying art in certain communities, it's very foreign because it's like, well, I can just go get something in IKEA, and I would much rather go camping. Like, why do I want to go to an art gallery? So it's taking that like veneer off, like it's art isolates or art is just like poncy or poshy or something, and really allowing communities to see that the art is there for them and it's by them as well. And so so there's a lot of like hurdles being in a rural area, but there's also a lot of positive because where we get to be the first and we really get to reach out to so many artists that don't necessarily maybe have access and wouldn't be displayed in a bigger city like Edmonton. So there's like this, like how many artists I met, and I didn't realize how fruitful of an industry it was because I had grown up in Edmonton and I had lived in the UK, so I'd never been in a small town. And so when I started meeting people and it was just connection after connection, I was just like amazed. And that was, and that's why I say like the local artist is a voiceless community because they have a passion, but the access or maybe knowing how to, like Linda's amazing, like business wise, Linda's just, I would bring her to mentor artists, like just absolutely incredible. But a lot of artists don't have that support. And so how do you get that? How do you find it? How do you know how to present your art? And everything we do with Zyp, it's always supporting communities. Like just to segue slightly is like, how do you get volunteers from a rural community, when you have people that don't understand, because the word gallery there's just so many layers associated with that, and art as well. And we have the double whammy saying art gallery. So a lot of people there's imaginations of what an art gallery looks like, the pretentiousness and stuff like that comes in a lot with people. And so breaking those barriers is going to be something that we're always going to be doing. And that's like a long-term strategy within educating the population that we're surrounded by. And as we branch out all of Alberta as well. But again, volunteers, for example, like I have been so fortunate. I just got my 50th volunteer.
Yay! Ding, ding, ding.
Yay. And so being able to, again, look at a community that don't get opportunities in Canada, I found a really niche community, newcomers and immigrants to Canada. They are so educated. They are so skilled. But when they come to Canada, they're told, you need to have Canadian experience. And it's really weird. I like when I moved to the UK, I never saw this. And people, I had friends from all over the world, and they never experienced that wherever they were. But this seems, I don't know if it's a Canadian thing, but people that come to Canada and the volunteers that I've spoken to, they all came to us because we were giving them opportunities in their field. And so I didn't even know this, but we were actually catering to a voiceless community of newcomers. And it's been so amazing. And I've been able to build up within 6 months, 50 volunteers that are working and building the back end of the organization. Most organizations don't get that. And that is that's a hurdle that I overcame quite accidentally. And so it's going to allow us to, especially by the time this airs, we'll be having our marketing set up. So we'll have social media. So Facebook will be having Linda's stuff, and our blogs will be posted. So our articles, and that will be articles about Linda's exhibition. And so it's just been since December, it's just my world has changed, and really because of the volunteers, which I'm so grateful for. That has changed my life, and that's fundamentally going to change this organization. And I'm so excited because we're going to go get bigger and impact more people.
And I noticed you've already got out, you have a youth art exhibition that you can see online that is for youth between 14 and 19 or something.
So we actually, one of the things that we do differently is we actually keep all of our past exhibitions. And I'm still being, some stuff is solo. So I don't have a web developer or designer yet, or graphics. If anybody's hearing, please apply, zypgallery.ca. And so what the plan is to post all of our past exhibitions on the website. And what we do is we have a relationship with the Leduc Art Club, and they have a competition every year with the local high school in Black Gold. And so we actually showcase their winners. So that's one of the exhibitions that you're referring to, is the Aspiring. And that's actually going to come after Linda's exhibition. So we're going to have some more high school students. And then last year we did the Calmar Art Society, who is our governing body. They sent out, and that's the one that you see on the first page of zypgallery.ca, ZYP.
Good job.
So that is what it was. The Calmar Art Society did a competition, and they did it from 9-year-olds to I think about 17, and it was amazing. So this was during the summer last year when everything was crazy, kids were in lockdown, and so they sent out this competition and just kind of put it all over and said, please bring your art, showcase, and we'll do a competition. And it was so great because we had so many parents that were really excited that they had this opportunity for their kids to actually do something and to express what they were feeling during this first time, obviously, in all of our lives, this experience. And it was amazing. I thought nobody was going to, I thought maybe we would get 5 because just the way lockdown was and confusion. And we had 31 artists send us works. And considering we're still building our marketing and everything, especially back then, it was a lot less than we had now. I was just completely blown away. And they were so good.
That's the one I'm referring to, is looking back at that competition, and some of that art is... Linda, how old were you when you started your art? When you started arting?
there's a story to that too. I've only been painting and writing books for 4 years.
Whoa!
Before that, I was a full-time photographer. And before that, I was a designer. I reinvent myself every so often.
Sure.
And I was a horse show photographer for 15 years. That's how I earned a living. And I absolutely loved it. But it was really, really hard work. You'd start at 7 a.m. and you wouldn't finish till the last horse went over the last fence. It could be 10 o'clock at night, and it was Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then you'd 3 days to get those pictures up on the website, and it would all start again on Thursday in a different field. So I decided, and I quit doing that just in time, just before the COVID thing happened. I thought, it's time for someone younger to take over. And so 4 years ago, I decided I was going to be a full-time artist and author. And that's what I've been doing.
I've decided that too. I'm going to do that.
Yeah, why not?
I've just decided today. I'm going to be a full-time dentist and underwater basket weaver.
And gin and juice drinker.
And drinker. Yeah.
We've kind of touched on the brass tacks already. Zypgallery.ca is where people can head to.
zypgallery.ca.
Absolutely perfect. Is there any other details they need to know? There's no cost associated, is there?
No.
Except for the merch?
Obviously, Linda has costs. We want to support local artists, and that's on the. We have links to Linda's book, her prints, and to her website because you want to follow her. And then also with respect to us, you can look through our window if you want to see it physically. I was very hesitant. Like Linda knows that I was like, I have it up, but I haven't announced it because I'm scared. I don't know if we're breaking lockdown rules. So we're in a physical building. We don't have an outdoor space. So I had lights on and you can kind of peek through our window. And then I was like, then I started seeing, like, I think one of the galleries in Calgary, they were displaying it through their windows. I was like, oh, okay, good. I'm not breaking any of the rules. We're not open, but you can look.
That's the connection I was going to make, because I wonder if the gallery you're thinking about in Calgary is the Indefinite Arts Center.
No, but I did listen to that podcast, so that's now the second one I knew. It's Esker.
Oh, yeah, the Esker.
Yeah, so they had stuff outside, and I was like, okay, good. I can tell people.
We're referring to the second episode where we were talking to the Indefinite Art Galleries and Adil Sadiq.
Third, I think.
Third episode, was our third episode? And Adil, I went downtown in Calgary in my car only to look through a window and see Adil's work. And I'm not that type of person, but it's something about having the time and having the interest. And anyway, I'm a big fan of Adil Sadiq.
And here's the thing. I'm a big fan of the Alberta Podcast Network, because The Breakfast Dish is a member of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. The intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexandra Calmar. All graphic design for The Breakfast Dish has been done by Morgan Ermter. Karen, what else is going on?
Well, starting July 3rd all the way to the end of August is the Quest Theatre Summer Drama Camps. And you know how I feel about Quest Theatre. Quest Theatre it's my heart and soul in Calgary. They've always offered drama camps. You were in those drama camps when you were a little boy. But this year they're having them in person and digitally. So you have a choice. And the in-person are with all COVID protocols and reduced class sizes. The digital classes are shorter, but they're like $15 for a 1 hour little drama camp. It's such a great way to do things. questtheatre.org. And the one thing I can tell you about Quest Theatre is that just the staff, the caliber of artists that they have teaching drama at those camps they're really good.
And speaking of high caliber artists, all relevant links to Zyp Gallery and Linda's work will be in our podcast description. You can check it out. Linda, Jamie, thank you very much for joining us on The Breakfast Dish.
It's been so much fun. Thank you so much.
Oh, it's been an absolute hoot.
How we like to wrap things up, in addition, of course, to chugging 7 gin and juices, is that Karen is, of course, a professional improviser, and she will make up a question right here, semi-breakfast related, or maybe in relation to what we talked about, but maybe not. Either way, it's made up. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
Okay, first, Jamie, invent right now the best, most alcoholic breakfast cocktail. Tell me what the ingredients are and name the cocktail.
Oh, it has to have gin. I wasn't joking. I'm a gin girl. So gin.
I wasn't joking. I am plastic.
Let's just pick all the good names. Gin, vermouth, egg white, some like some orange like oil. So you take the zest and just squeeze it on. It's got to be Hendrix, so we're going to put some cucumbers in there.
Oh.
And then I'll just put a little dash of grenadine on top on the white foam of the egg white just to make it look cool. And I'll call it like Jay's surprise because I don't know how it's going to taste.
Egg white. That's a breakfast reference. That's 23.
You just blew my mind. That is the hardest breakfast question I've ever asked. Like, I can't believe it. Okay, here's one for you, Linda. You've run out of triclad paint and you've run out of coffee and you have to pick 2 breakfast items that you're going to paint with. What are they?
Well, I'll use a banana as my tool.
Sexual innuendo?
And I'm going to dip it in ketchup.
Oh, please do that. Please take a banana, dip it in ketchup, make artwork, please.
Okay.
Hey, listeners, please put bananas in your ketchups. Do not email us about us. I don't want to know. Bye.
Bop, 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 bop.
This episode of The Breakfast Dish is brought to you by the Calgary Foundation, proudly supporting community needs for 65 years.
And supporting the breakfast dish for about 9 months. Whether it was proudly, I don't know. We said a lot of weird stuff.
I think they're proud.
I hope so.
We only mentioned cocaine once. When you make a gift to the Calgary Foundation, it's a gift that keeps on giving. The Foundation's knowledgeable staff will provide advice on the community's most pressing needs, keeping your interests at heart and helping you give back in a way that is meaningful for you.
Do you have another gift, like off the top of your head, that also keeps on giving?
Yes, Neil Diamond albums.
Oh, God.
Your contributions are invested in an endowment fund that provides a permanent source of funding, allowing you to make an impact now and forever.
There you go. People want to leave a legacy. This is how you do it.
If you're a professional advisor creating a giving plan for a client or a donor wanting to give back to the community, discover a wealth of resources at calgaryfoundation.org to learn more, or check out Calgary Foundation's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel.
Hey, Calgary Foundation, toss us a follow. Peace sign.
I think I'm going to give some money to them instead of you.
I don't deserve it.
This has been The Breakfast Dish.